What's the argument that you just had to say to your significant other? Let's just agree to disagree. 601-995-1017. It's Adam and Allison on Y101. I think agree to disagree can be a powerful tool in arguments, certain kind of arguments.
Right.
Like questions of morality where you're really not going to change anybody's mind. I mean, you can think of any of those type of questions that they tell you not to bring up at the Christmas dinner table or something like that. Those, a lot of times, agree to disagree is probably good. But if you're like in a relationship, maybe you're raising kids and you have a disagreement on whether or not spanking your kids is appropriate. Agree to disagree is a tough one because it's like, okay, well, we can agree to disagree whether or not spanking is appropriate, but what are we going to do?
Right. Then
we don't agree.
One parent is spanking, one parent isn't. What's going on here?
Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani have agreed to disagree on Blake's hunting. Gwen thinks it's cruel. Blake loves hunting.
Yeah.
So she has a hard time, but they've just agreed to disagree on hunting. And that's kind of like a question of morality type of thing. Unless, of course, Blake's coming home with like deer blood and guts all over his shirt and Gwen's all upset. I don't know. Have you ever had to come to a point with a either significant other or just maybe a colleague, a friend, where you agree to disagree?
Definitely. I had an ex-boyfriend where we agreed to disagree on the hunting thing. He was a big hunter, like prided himself. He even had a bow. He was doing it that way and like very much prided himself on hunting. And it was like, that's a tough pill for me to swallow because like that's not something that I can really get down with.
So would you have not been able to see a future with that guy? Like maybe you were having fun in the moment and everything was cool for a short amount of time, but like you didn't see a long-term future with them because you couldn't find common ground on hunting?
No, I think I really thought that we could just agree to disagree on that one. Like, I'll pretend it's not happening. I'll pretend that he's doing something else whenever he gets up early and packs up all his stuff and goes hunting. And he'll not think about me either.
This is so hard for me because if it is something that's like a big deal, I have a hard time saying I agree to disagree about anything. That again is not just a question of morality where you're not going to change the other person's mind. So I don't know. I feel horrible for Brentlyn's stomach. It's Y101, Adam and Allison. We're talking about what you and your significant other have agreed to disagree on. Can be a powerful tool in an argument, but not in this case.
No.
She texted us and said, me and my fiance had to agree to disagree on how to thaw meat, even though I had receipts. Cold water is the right way to thaw meat, but he uses hot water. You're going to end up with food poisoning if you do that. You have to use cold water to thaw meat.
I didn't even know you could use water to thaw meat. I thought you just had to put it in the fridge and wait for it to thaw.
That's probably the best way to do it, but that takes way longer than just filling up a bowl with cold water and sticking the frozen meat in there. It'll thaw a little bit faster than just leaving it in the fridge. But if you use hot water, that allows bacteria and stuff on the outside of the meat to get too hot and breed and get all happy and everything, and you're going to get sick. You are going to get sick.
Reminds me of, remember, I think it was from American Idol or X Factor or something, the best friends that like got in a huge fight because somebody served raw chicken and the other friend was like, it wasn't raw, and the other friend's like, it was pink in the middle.
But yes, exactly. And that is the type of thing where I don't think that I, in a relationship, could agree to disagree. I can't agree to disagree to get food poisoning. I'm not going to do that. 601-995-1017 is our phone number. What's something you and your significant other have agreed to disagree on?
We love someone who has to stay anonymous.
Oh, it's our favorite.
This says, my husband doesn't know that we've agreed to disagree about how much stuff should cost, like getting my hair done or new makeup. I pay half with cash and half on our card, so he thinks I'm only spending 50% of what it costs.
Okay, there's another one that is really hard to agree to disagree because there's no compromise there. You know what I mean?
It sounds like she's agreed to disagree and he has no idea what he's agreeing to.
This one I could see from Carolyn agreeing to disagree on. She says, my best friend and I have gotten into many an argument over Ryan Gosling.
What?
I think he's the hottest guy guy in Hollywood, and she wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. We just had to agree to disagree.
That's honestly a good thing. Having best friends who do not have the same taste in you is just saving you from a lot of future fights. Macy says, my husband and I have agreed to disagree on laundry. He believes the best way to get clothes clean is dry clean. I follow the directions on the tag, but it just means less laundry for me to do, and he takes care of the dry cleaning. I wonder if he's ever ruined anything by sending it to the dry cleaners when it was like hand wash only.
No, I don't think that you can. I think that hand wash only is fine at the dry cleaners.
Well, I'm like Macy. I'm following the tag. I've never tried that. I figured it would ruin the clothes.
I've also had a fight with somebody about dry cleaning years ago, like 10 years ago.
What was the fight?
So I was DJing a bunch of weddings at the time, and the guy I was DJing weddings for, we would have to wear like dress shirts and everything.
Right, you got to look nice.
I would just take my dress shirts to the dry cleaner because they'd press them and they'd look real nice and everything. But I'd take them like right off my body and they'd go in a pile and then off to the dry cleaner. He was convinced that you had to wash those shirts first at home and then take them to the dry cleaner.
Okay, that's another topic because, like, what? I've never heard the delusion that somebody's like, you got to wash it before you take it to the dry cleaners. What's the point of that? What if it's dry clean only?
It was a big fight. It was a big fight between the two of us, for sure.
What?